Today, we are talking about the narcissist and the top 10 different reasons they discard a target. As most of you probably know, narcissistic abuse goes in cycles. It starts out with love bombing phase, and then there will be what's called a devalue cycle, meaning they will be loving and kind during the love bombing stage. Then they will become cruel, critical, and mean during the devalue stage. And these two cycles can repeat and go on for a long time before the discard finally happens. But the discard is usually on the way at some point, which means the narcissist abruptly discards you or essentially throws you away as if you meant nothing to them. I have seen discards happen after only a few weeks or months of dating, and I have seen discards happen after decades of marriage, and there is everything in between. And unfortunately, more frequently than you might imagine, the person being discarded usually did not see it coming, and it does not understand what happened or why they all of a sudden have been dumped. And narcissists are famous for refusing to give the victim any valid and truthful explanation or closure, which can cause significant distress in that person, which in turn can keep them stuck in ruminating about every aspect of the relationship, desperately trying to figure out what happened. So if this has happened to you or someone you know, I'm going to tell you the most common reasons narcissists discard their victim. So hopefully if anyone out there is suffering, you can understand and give yourself the closure you need that the narcissist refuses to give you. But first, if you're new to my channel, I'd like to take a moment and welcome you and invite you to please subscribe and be sure and hit that notification bell because I put out new videos every week. Also, if you are interested in one-on-one narcissistic abuse recovery coaching with me, please visit my website. It's linked in the description below. Okay, so today we are talking about the top 10 reasons a narcissist discards a target or ends the relationship in a very abrupt, cruel, and often offensive manner. These aren't in any particular order either, by the way. Okay, number one, a very obvious reason many times is that they met someone else that they view as a more appealing source of narcissistic supply. Now, please hear me when I say this. It does not mean they are better than you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. It only means the narcissist sees them as a more appealing source of supply in this moment. I promise you, the same fate that you have lived through awaits this new source, if not possibly even worse. Remember, narcissists don't view people or relationships like they are living, breathing things. They view people and relationships like assets, no different really than a car, a refrigerator, or a toy. Sooner rather than later, the shine and the sparkle will wear off of this new source of supply, and the narcissist will be back out on the hunt looking for someone to replace this one. Number two, a very common reason a discard happens is because you started vocalizing their behavior is abusive and calling them out for their inexcusable things they are doing. Narcissists are not interested in the least in being held accountable for the horrible things that they do. So if you start calling them out on the abusive behavior, that is a major no-no to the narcissist. They want to be able to abuse you at will, but they do not want you to have any issues with it or talk about it. They want you to comply to their will, tolerate the abuse, and behave as if it's no big deal, act as if it didn't happen at all, or even worse, they will want you to take accountability for being the reason they became abusive. Remember, narcissists take every situation they are a part of and they rewrite history into a narrative that puts them into one of three roles. They will portray themselves as the hero of the story, the victim of the story, or the martyr of the story, or some combination of all three. Nothing, absolutely nothing is more important to the narcissist than that narrative. And if you don't go along with their made-up version of reality, that's not going to work. That will absolutely cause major problems. And if you don't adjust accordingly and accept their ridiculous narrative as fact, then you will be discarded sooner rather than later. They will not be in a relationship with anyone if that person does not go along with their made up and rewritten version of history. And that doesn't just go for romantic relationships with a narcissist. This is true for any relationship with a narcissist, including the relationships they have with their own children. Number 3, a discard can happen because we slowed down on giving them tons of uninterrupted narcissistic supply. Narcissists need to be the center of your world and your life at all times. No exceptions. They want your undivided attention and continual adoration and narcissistic supply all the time. So if you have other obligations and duties in your life, this could very well be a problem for them. Or maybe you just got tired of continually having to be on for the narcissist. Remember, narcissists are addicts, and the drug they are addicted to is narcissistic supply. So if the narcissistic supply they are getting from you starts to decline, they aren't going to like that one bit, and a discard will likely be headed your way in the near future. Next, number 4, a discard commonly will happen if you start establishing and enforcing boundaries. I'm not sure there are too many things that narcissists hate more than having to abide by someone else's boundaries. They hate boundaries with an absolute passion. So if you have come to the conclusion that being in this relationship is not working for you without boundaries, and you try to establish and enforce new boundaries, this will be met with extreme opposition by the narcissist. They might come in that might come in the form of extreme anger or rage, or possibly they try to make you feel guilty for these new boundaries, calling you selfish and self-centered, or they might try to shame you and make you feel as if you aren't normal or something is wrong with you because you want to establish boundaries. Or they might start withholding love and affection, trying to manipulate you into abandoning the new boundaries. But they are going to do their very best to try and get you to completely give up on these boundaries. And if that doesn't work in a relatively short period of time, then a discard is likely around the corner for you. Narcissists are not going to tolerate and stay in a relationship with someone who has strong boundaries. Not because these boundaries aren't valid and deserved, but because narcissists want to be in complete and total control of their relationships. And in their minds, they are the only one who is entitled to make any rules, not you. Number 5, a discard will happen if and when we start to figure them out and start to realize something is seriously wrong. Possibly even we mention the word narcissism. Narcissists do not fear anything as much as they fear exposure. And they are not interested in the least in hearing any narrative of reality that does not put them in the best possible light. They aren't interested in any version of reality other than the phony one that they tell themselves. So if you start to figure them out, or you start getting too close to the truth, and they know you are starting to figure everything out, then it's very likely they are going to discard you pretty quickly and go straight into a smear campaign against you if they haven't started one already. Narcissists will go to great measures to conceal their true identity to the people that surround them and people in their community. And if you start calling them out, not only should you brace yourself for a very abrupt and nasty discard, but also a smear campaign. Narcissists are incredibly paranoid people, and they tend to believe that all people are as malicious and vengeful as they are. So if and when they start to feel threatened by you, which they will definitely feel threatened if you start to figure them out, they will try and destroy your reputation and good name before you have the opportunity to tell other people the truth. Number 6, we no longer are falling for their absurd lies and their gaslighting. When the tricks they have up their sleeves start failing to work on us, when they start losing the power they had over us, and the standard abuse and manipulation tactics they use on you start to stop working, this is likely the beginning of the end. Specifically, if they are facing an ultimatum. For example, if you are demanding that they stop lying and gaslighting you, if they want to be in a relationship with you, the actual chances of that happening are just about 0%. They are not interested in changing and doing the right thing, and they aren't going to stop with their abuse and manipulation tactics for you or anyone else. Therefore, if you start seeing their patterns of abuse and express those things don't work on you any longer, you will quickly start losing your appeal to the narcissist because you are no longer drinking the Kool-Aid, and you will be met with a discard. Number 7, you no longer are catering to their needs and their ego. This is always a complete and total deal breaker for a narcissist. Remember, narcissists don't want relationships based on mutual respect and equality. They want someone who is going to cater to their every need, every desire, and every wish, every day, all day. If you start to decline to be solely focused on their needs, this will inevitably cause a narcissistic injury. And if this unruly behavior of yours does not clear up pronto, then sooner rather than later, the narcissist likely will be looking for a new source of supply. Number 8, discards can happen because they simply became bored. Narcissists have incredibly short attention spans, and they are constantly trying to fight off boredom. So sometimes the narcissist may discard a target for literally no other reason than they just became bored. They are literally that shallow and superficial. Remember, the way you view other people in relationships is completely different than the way the narcissists view other people in relationships. You are an object to them. You're there solely to serve the narcissist and make him or her happy. And unfortunately, if they become bored with you, then these people don't have any problems throwing you away as they would a toy that they were done playing with. It really is as simple as that to a narcissist. Number 9, you have become too needy. The lies, the cheating, the devalue cycles have done such a number on your self-esteem that you became so needy and desperate to know what they are doing, or you're watching their every move. They decide you have nothing else to offer them and they discard you. This is very common and usually very, very painful for the victim. But narcissists don't want anyone they are in a relationship with to actually have any needs, or at least they don't want you to vocalize your needs or burden them in any way with a request for them to meet your needs. They are the only ones that will have needs in this relationship. And if you're not willing to go with the program and basically abandon your needs and desires, then unfortunately, that will not work for most narcissists and you will likely be discarded. And number 10, they start thinking that you are getting to the point that you are seriously considering leaving them. So they decide to discard you before you have an opportunity to leave them. Because the reality is nothing, absolutely nothing is more important to a narcissist than winning. And they view everything as a competition, and they never want to feel or believe they are being viewed by other people as a loser. So if you were to leave them first, that would not only produce an enormous narcissistic injury, but in their mind, that would make them a loser. And that is an outcome they will do just about anything to avoid. So if they feel they are in some kind of danger of you dumping them, they very well might decide the best course of action is to discard you before you have an opportunity to discard them. So in closing, let me first just say it's always, always, always safest if the narcissist discards you. And although I know a discard might be very painful if you are going through this, trust me when I tell you this is a huge blessing in disguise, and this is the absolute best outcome and ending of the relationship for you. Because when you leave them, and if they still view you as belonging to them, as a valuable source of narcissistic supply that they weren't finished with, they may start trying to extract negative supply from you in the form of your fear, intimidation, sadness, or despair. Remember, narcissistic supply in its simplest form is the attention of others that makes them feel special. And if they cannot get your positive supply in the form of your love and adoration, they will certainly settle for trying to obtain negative narcissistic supply from you, which could come in the form of your fear, anger, repulsion, or frustration. Narcissists can become dangerously vengeful. So although the discard might hurt, I promise you, it's always the best thing that could possibly happen. Relationships with narcissists are full of heartbreak, trauma, and chaos. And that is never, ever going to change and will continue to manifest everywhere they go and with anyone they are in a relationship with. So if you have been discarded, trust me, it's such a blessing. Let the narcissist ride off into the sunset, believing they are the winner in this situation, and you focus on your healing and building your life back, because you can have a happy, healthy, and successful life and new relationships. The narcissist will not. Okay, that's going to do it for today's video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Also, follow me on my other social media platforms. The links are in the description below. Thanks for watching, everyone.